Victory is more than just a name. Our history is built on tradition and values.
Well, the ball is just glued to his boots.
We are pride and passion, and we are noise. But no one gives you anything in football. It doesn't come easy. You can't be satisfied. That is life. That is football. We're born from the notion of bringing all of Victorians together under one banner. It's about hard work, it's about discipline, and it's about respect. The skills, thrills, spills, and goals. And more goals.
It's 5 for Archie Thompson.
It's the moments and the celebrations that stay with you.
But we want more.
And we hope that makes Victoria proud like they've always done. Good luck to Melbourne Victory for the A-League season. Ladies and gentlemen, the team lineups for this evening's game. First and foremost for our visitors is Melbourne Victory. In goals, number 20, Paul Izzo. Number 3, Enrique Lopez Fernandez. Number 6, Lee Rocha. Number 7, Chris Commentators. Number 8, the captain, Josh Brillante. Number 15, George Timotheo. Number 16, Stefan Negro. Number 17, Luis Almeida da Cunha, better known as Nani. Number 18, Nicholas D'Agostino.
Victory is more than just a name. Our history is built on tradition and values.
Well, the ball is just glued to his boots.
We are pride and passion, and we are noise. But no one gives you anything in football. It doesn't come easy. You can't be satisfied. That is life. That is football. We're born from the notion of bringing all of Victorians together under one banner. It's about hard work, it's about discipline, and it's about respect. The skills, thrills, spills, and goals. And more goals.
It's 5 for Archie Thompson.
It's the moments and the celebrations that stay with you.
But we want more.
Good evening and welcome to John Cain for another pre-season Melbourne Victory friendly. This time, Tony Popovic's men take on NPL 2 side Northcote City. Once again, brought to you live here with FNR Football Nation Radio and the Melbourne Victory website. And today's broadcast is brought to you by none other than Melbourne Victory's 2022-23 membership campaign. We want more is the slogan. They want more members signing up for the coming A-League season. Make sure you head on over to the Melbourne Victory website to get your membership. My name is Josh Parish. I'm with Lachie Flannigan once again here tonight. It's a great atmosphere, heading towards a packed house. I'll take you through the starting lineups. Lachie, very happy to be at one of the best venues in Victorian football.
Absolutely. Outside of the absolute top level, this is one of the best places amongst Victorian NPL football that you can possibly hope to find yourself on a weekend or on a midweek. The souvlaki smoke is billowing up. It's done at the back of the grandstand, so it's wafting up right to the top and setting the scene for what is going to be a very exciting contest. I mean, if you're leaning into the membership slogan, we want more, well, with respect to pre-season friendlies, we are getting more and getting hopefully some very good action tonight with a few interesting narratives, some surprise inclusions into the Victory lineup, some exciting trialists as well that we might get to mention, and as well a return to Northcote for some Melbourne Victory youngsters as well, and a few brotherly parents. There's a lot of narratives to go into tonight. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, we're about to kick off here. I'll take you through the Melbourne Victory starting lineup. Paul Izzo is between the sticks. Cadete starts at fullback. Lee Broxham in the side once again. Chris Economides, Josh Brillante, George Timotheo and Stefan Negro. Nani starts once again. Roderick Miranda, Jake Brimmer and Nick D'Agostino up front, making his return to first team football. It's great to see him fit once again.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Josh. Great to have Daggers back and leading that line. No Tommy Urich tonight, but I'm sure in his absence, Daggers will do a more than serviceable job leading that line as he did so well last year. But again, it's an interesting dynamic, obviously. Northcote having just wrapped up their campaign in the NPL2, finishing in mid-table in the second tier of Victorian state football versus a Victory side who have only had the one competitive match in their off-season in that Australia Cup defeat. A lot of young talent for both sides tonight. It's Northcote on the ball early.
Lachie, you've seen this Northcote team in action a few times this season. Do you want to take us through the team and some of the players to watch out for?
Absolutely. Well, to roll through the starting 11, the regular stalwart keeper Phil Petrovski keeps his spot as that's an early sider from Chris Economides. Lewis Caritas, Kevin Lynch, Varney Shamoon, Yug Gandhi, Costa Apostolopoulos, Zach Bates, Fuki Ishibashi, Luke Lofts, George Salakides, and the captain Jonathan Boonis, the starting 11 for the home side. And look, there is a couple of likely sources to try and watch out for. Luke Lofts, the English attacking midfielder who came in the mid-season window as that flashes just wide from D'Agostino. Yeah, Luke Lofts, a former Hull City youth player, joined in the mid-season window and has had a nice start to life. He's certainly one that I'd pick out for. Also, Yug Gandhi as well, the youngster who's been elevated into the seniors. halfway through this season and has been a real live wire for them. A former Melbourne Victory youth back in 2021 when he played NPL 3. It's Jonathan Boonis, another to keep an eye out for. He's the captain of this Northcote side and has scored 7 goals out of midfield this year, and not a single average or poor goal amongst them. He only scores absolute rippers, does Jonathan Boonis. Very skilled technical player, one that Victory midfield are going to have to watch out for. Although he's turned it over here, the commentator's curse. This is a breakaway for one of the men we mentioned in Yug Gandhi. Out into touch. Yeah, maybe Yug Gandhi coming into tonight with a point to prove. He has been part of that Victory Academy setup in years gone by last year. And it's been so good for Northcote this year, so plenty of eyes on him. Looked over the top in the Nani direction. He'll contest for it. Once and then twice. Big launch from Petrovsky. Timotheo, well, his clearance right into the path of Nani. Victory potentially sizing up an early opening. One way then the other. That Jonathan Boonis, well, that's a tackle he'll be able to tell plenty of people about. Stop Nani from getting through. There we go. Still on the ball here, though. Delicate play on the edge of the box. Economides lays it back for Nani, who has a first-time crack. Nothing doing. Victory with a lot of early pressure, as is to be expected. And good to see John Kane in such good nick, given all the rain. Economides floats one. D'Agostino gets the laydown. And that one drifts helplessly out of play for a goal kick. And keep your comments coming through if you're watching in a place where you can leave your comments across the Facebook, Twitch and YouTube pages of Football Nation Radio, or on the Melbourne Victory website. Got comments coming through saying to get Menelau on the pitch. We do have 2 Menelaus, 2 brothers waiting in the wings. As Victory break clear. D'Agostino was waiting in the middle. Never quite connected. Cadete again measured towards the back post. And welcome to Melbourne Victory. Lewis Nani ghosting in at the back post to deliver the opening goal, and 2 new signings combining to give Victory the lead. A measured cross from Cadete straight into the path of Nani, and with all his experience and quality, he was never going to make a mistake from there.
What a phenomenal start for the Victory. So good for the star man to get off the mark.
Victory by number 17, Nani.
And that's the player that even the Northcote juniors today were crowding the race, queuing up. They were asking for signatures before the game had even started. The security guards had to tell them, no, you got to wait until after the game. That is the kind of demand we're talking about for this gentleman. So Economides back to Cadete. It's another teasing delivery. And that was enterprising attacking play from the Spaniard. Victory again pressing. Economides out and away by Lewis Caritas. Victory controlling things at the present moment. So there is a bit of rain for those who are wondering whether or not they should stay or go. Bit of drizzle, but everyone underneath the gargantuan grandstand here at John Cain more than safe. Victory really getting a chance to test their mettle in possession.
Don't think many had Lewis Nani's first goal down as a header, Lachie, but so it proved.
Football, it moves in mysterious ways, Josh. I think many were expecting of a curling effort, perhaps a free kick, something speculative from range being his account opening, but not quite. But hey, football throws up surprises, and Nani with a back post header is one of them. Although credit must go to the delivery from Cadete bombing up out of that left fullback position. It really was a cross that was begging to be nodded away.
Economides collected late. Advantage paid. Cadete on the overlap again, but delivery not matching the quality of his first. Got a fantastic attendance tonight. Excellent turnout. We're unpacking into John Cain to catch a glimpse of the Melbourne Victory marquee, who's set tongues wagging in A-League circles, and they've got their money's worth already.
Well, and still, we're what, nearly 10 minutes into the game, and people are filtering through Cokes and chips and all manner of things from the canteen from the social club in hand. And they've come to see this man. Well, they've come to see Lee Broxham too.
Fans still finding their seats, and some of them infringing on our broadcast positions, so we apologise for that, for any brief obstructed views or close-ups of some of the spectators. Here comes Jake Brimmer for Melbourne Victory. Something quite outlandish didn't come off for Nick D'Agostino there. I think he was attempting the back heel. An attempted switch. Was that from Luke Lofts? Doesn't find its intended target. Here's Brimmer. A few half-hearted appeals for handball, but controlled that well on his chest. Cadete. Brimmer. Ambitious ball. Trying to pick out Nani at the far post again. Northcote City managed to clear their lines. Victory's response when they lose the ball has been impressive so far. Getting pressure. The counter press, as the coaches call it now, trying to stop the counter attacks.
Yeah, and I mean, you'd be forgiven this early into pre-season for not quite being ready to do those hard yards and tracking so far back and so quickly as well to get into that defensive shape early, but that's exactly what Victory are doing. They've left a gap here, though, down the left, which Luke Lofts was trying to exploit. So quite a few, dare I say it, Josh, there's a fair few former Melbourne City juniors amongst these Northcote ranks as well, not least Zach Bates, number 17, who's leading the line for Hercules, so maybe he's one who's going to be nice and fired up when the chances do fall his way. Although, Victory look like they're going to be next to lodge one, as Jake Brimmer pulled up just past the centre circle by Johnny Apostolopoulos. In fact, it's Costa. It's the older brother of Johnny, who's also a Northcote player.
Well, the brothers don't end there today.
No.
Two on opposite sides, opposite benches.
Yes, of course. We've seen the comments and the love flowing through for the Menelaus. Of course, Dennis, Northcote's leading scorer this season. They're a young talent who's on the bench. Somewhat surprised to see him on the bench for Northcote today. That's going to hold up, or not quite, for Chris Economides. And over on the other side of the bench is Victory youth talent Alex Menelau, who of course missed the game against Dandenong Thunder a few weeks ago because he was part of the Joey's Talent ID camp, that 30-man squad. So those two brothers, Alex got a big welcome back to Northcote over the PA system before the game from the chief of operations here at Northcote, Peter Katsiris. Very happy to see young Alex return. There's also a pair of twins for Northcote as well. Only one of them features tonight, but Chris Prifty and Emmanuel Prifty, brothers that play in the 21s, and Chris, a talented player who we might see come off the bench for Northcote as well.
Well, we know the collective noun for the Apostolopolises is, of course, the Apostolopoli. I haven't come up with one for the Menelaus yet, but
We'll workshop it at halftime.
Yep. Here's Roderick Miranda looking calm and composed as usual in possession. Shrugs off the pressure like it's not there. Now here comes Jake Brimmer. Feeds the feet of Nani and gets the return as well. What can Nani conjure? That's delightful from Jonathan Boonis. Little sombrero, if you don't mind. Chipping it over the head of none other than Nani, collecting it on the other side. Doesn't stay with Northcote, the possession, of course, but nice bit of skill. Northcote will see this one out over the byline for a goal kick. Got a few people inquiring about the attendance. This looks pretty healthy to me, Lachie. There's got to be 1,000 in this grandstand.
I would say so, and it's pretty much there's very little in the way of open space to try and take a seat here at the Northcote grandstand. That's a good thing to see. Northcote really wanted this game to be held, and you can see why. They're willing to put aside other fixtures in their league competition to preserve the pitch and make sure the Victory Stars could stride on it tonight. As Brimmer nearly makes the interception.
Just rolls out of George Salakidis' reach. Cadete. Broxham, neat 1-2 with Jake Brimmer. There's late contact from Salakidis on Economides. Miranda. Out to Cadete. Little pocket of space. Brimmer. D'Agostino involved. Cadete trying to thread the gap. And it breaks down, and the whistle will go against George Timotheo for the hold on Zach Bates.
And I think already you're seeing what a difference Nick D'Agostino makes to this lineup. He's just got those intelligent little sort of one-touch, intricate plays in and around the back four to feed other teammates, and the finishing nous as well. So he tries again to turn provider, distributing to Chris Economides. Brimmer opening the angle on the swivel. Nani trying to play the reverse pass through. And Northcote attempting to break forward through Boonis. Economides driving at Salakidis. Brimmer creating the opportunity. Can't get it through a sea of Northcote legs. Second goal, looks like it's a matter of when, not if, for the visitors. As again, Economides charging down, cutting it back, and there was no one there to provide a telling touch. It's a free kick given away by Kevin Lynch. Big slide up against Lewis Nani. It's a free kick in a promising position for Victory. I think it's fair to say, Josh, the last pre-season game against Dandy Thunder had a bit of a slow start, but nice and zippy so far tonight.
Yeah, Victory looking every bit the A-League outfit that they are. Went altogether convincing in the first half against Dandenong Thunder, perhaps shaking off the pre-season rust, and no doubt a little ginger from Tony Popovic's double fitness sessions that he tends to run in pre-season. Very demanding coach, of course. Gets his players fighting fit, but they do pay the price. And now you're seeing Victory exert their class and quality, move the ball around a lot more fluidly than they did at George Andrews. This is a good scoring opportunity. Timotheo is forward in the danger area. D'Agostino was up for it. Just skims off his forehead and doesn't get a meaningful connection on the ball. Here's Cadete. Cuts it back to his captain Brillante. Now Nani inviting the run of Stefan Negro, but just came a little bit too late. The Sporting overlap from the right back. A bit of a cynical foul there from Nick D'Agostino. If there's one thing to heed in the scouting report for Northcote, it's Zach Bates. Very fast. And I think they saw Zach Bates set to break away there and sought to avoid that as quickly as possible. So Jake Bruma making it look casual enough to get away with one, especially in a pre-season game.
Yeah, I think the quicker you can get on him and deny him the space to power up and to hit the accelerator in his right and left boots, then you're going to go a long way to thwarting Zach Bates. But yeah, particularly with the way the game's being played out, Victory controlling so much of the possession and in such an advanced position as well. You know, that threat of teams on the break in transition definitely will have to be something to watch out for. I mean, Nani obviously will get the headlines for the opener, but I think the performance of Cadete has been the big talking point so far. Really getting a chance to see a bit more of what he can offer in an attacking sense, the Spanish fullback. And obviously playing against an opponent in the NPL2, you're going to have a little bit more time and space than perhaps you used to, but the shape and the size and the direction of those balls into the penalty box is something that doesn't change no matter. If you've got a good final ball, you've got a good final ball. That doesn't matter where you're playing. And Cadete, that particular element of his game has been most pleasing so far.
He stood out against Dandenong Thunder the other week as well. Just his purposeful running, always keen to get forwards, as that's an awkward late challenge. And a second to the ball there. And a yellow card for Zach Bates. He's quick, but he wasn't quick enough on the scene on that occasion. Brimmer. Miranda. Thought about the early diagonal. Instead, it's a slightly awkward one for Steph Negro, and Northcote have forced Victory back to their own goalkeeper here. Cadete turns it over to Boonis. And now can Northcote fashion something? Salakides is up in support. Decides for a low cutback instead of the cross into the area. Zach Bates unhappy the ball didn't go into his path to the line of his run. He wants it in behind again here from Boonis, but taking a more patient approach. Karidis. Back to Petrovski between the sticks. Great first touch from Ugandi, but he's coming back from an offside position. Miranda into the feet of D'Agostino, able to turn and pick out Nani. Crosses to the far post. Cadete was arriving. In fact, it was not Cadete at all, but Melbourne Victory's man with the armband, Josh Brillante, who didn't make meaningful contact.
It was a difficult one for Chris Economides because he was kind of unsighted. He didn't realise that his captain was making that run behind his shoulder, and so in an effort to double back and try and latch onto what he thought was a loose ball with no teammates nearby, he ended up doing Northcote's defensive work for them. Which I'm sure they're probably quite grateful about.
Opportunity here for Brimmer. Deflection on the pass. Economides crosses to the back stick. Nani's in again. It's almost an action replay. This time a volley. The first was a header, but Lewis Nani arriving unmarked at the back post for a double. He is well off the mark now in Victory colours.
Goal for Melbourne Victory, number 17, Nani.
Well, we know Josh, he's got quality in both boots, but he really hasn't had to show it with the service he's received. A free header and then a free look to volley in at the back post. It's not his stock and trade by any sense of the imagination, but I'm not sure the Victory fans will mind one bit. And getting amongst the goal scorers can only be a good thing because he has more to come.
Starting to build some fitness, form and confidence ahead of the A-League season. The Portuguese superstar.
Yeah, the Nani in Northcote experience is delivering.
Awkward moment for Petrovski. D'Agostino. Boonis got there in time to put a challenge in, but Petrovski almost left red-faced by that one. Northcote caught on the ball again, but falls kindly to Boonis. Shamoon. And now it's worked out to Ugandi, who has 4 Victory shirts surrounding him. Have to do the team thing and go back to his captain. And work it out to Ugandi again. Opportunity to run at the Victory defence. Tavani Shamoon. The layoff to Luke Lofts. Left him with a lot to do there, with a wall of bodies in front of him and a promising attack. Peters out into nothing.
Yeah, he just kind of ran out of options when he received the pass. Luke Lofts, he didn't have much in the way of support in any direction. And that little, kick and rush approach is only so easy at the best of times, let alone against a Melbourne Victory defence. Turning defence into attack. Cadete again at the back post. It's 3 for Melbourne Victory. And it's the captain who gets in on the act, streaming out of midfield, Josh Brillante, and the quality of the balls into the box has proved the difference for Victory so far.
Certainly has, and Cadete has to take a lot of credit for that. They've been so effective down this left-hand side. Economides and Cadete proving a lethal combination. And again, it's across to the far post. Again, it's an unmarked runner. And when Northcote City do their review of this game, I think there'll be a pretty clear weak point to focus on. Melbourne Victory 3 up in the first half, sitting pretty. And their star men doing the work. 2 goals for Lewis Nani and 1 for Josh Belante.
And look, yes, Northcote, are leaving that space at the back post unguarded, and that's the area in which they've been caught out on every single occasion. But still, for Josh Belante, who's not necessarily notorious for his penalty box entries, to be able to ghost in and recognise that space is there, it's even against, obviously, an inferior opposition, a promising sign.
It was Economides arriving on the end of that one. Melbourne Victory look worlds apart from the side who struggled against Dandenong Thunder. 0-0 at halftime in that game. This time they've put in a performance befitting of their name. And now Nani has popped up on the left. Trying to play the return pass. Belante in the area again. Agostino's layoff. The ball was into Nani, who let it run. Economides can't get there ahead of Salakides. And we'll have a Victory corner. And in truth, it was always going to be a tough ask for a mid-table NPL 2 side to put in a contest against an A-League semi-finalist. The rehearsed routine. It's played to Cadete. Lob to the back stick again. Miranda's in there. And he hits it. And it's a great save from Phil Petrovsky. Now Nani's cross. Instead, he jinks past his marker. It's a great delivery. And it's 4 for Victory. Roderick Miranda with a fantastic finish. The centre-back with a side volley.
It's the Portuguese connection, Josh. Nani and Roderick Miranda. The former teeing up the latter and effortless from Roderick Miranda, the central defender, looking like he comes from a very different part of the pitch. Just poised. It's the ease of access to goal that you expect from this Victory side on an occasion like tonight.
Been a very polished performance. Clinical display of finishing tonight from Melbourne Victory. Been very slick on the ball as well. Nani's been popping up all over the pitch. And he runs through now. Lewis Nani tries to play the unselfish pass. Probably could have got himself for a solo effort.
I think that's what everyone's tacitly expecting Nani to do, but perhaps keeping his powder dry for deeper into the preseason or even the A-League men's season proper.
Nani leaving that one as a dummy. Rolante not on the same wavelength. Well, what kind of a response can Northcote City come up with? The end of a long NPL season for them. Finished 6th in NPL 2 despite perhaps higher expectations in pre-season with some of the signings they made. Didn't quite work out. Changed manager midway through. It's been a campaign of tumult here at John Cain. Nani just slipped on the turf, lost his standing foot. Boonus's attempted ball is cut out. Timotheo. Great spin from Jake Brimmer, who feeds it to Economides. What a tackle that was. Had to play the ball cleanly and did.
It was brilliant work from Kevin Lynch. Kind of situation in which you've got to get it all right, especially sliding in from behind like that. But as you saw, the referee did that little gesture, even though he had his back to us. It's a universal sign. He got the ball. North could get away with one, but only for the moment.
That has struck the post. Roderick Miranda in amongst it once again. 2 volleys in the same game was just too good to hope for a central defender, but he hit that very, very nicely.
Oh, that one would have been even better than the first had it bulged to the back of the net. The way he wrapped the boot around it from the tight angle and got it to curl back towards goal, just sort of helped it on its way. He tried to find an opening in that near post. He wasn't a million miles away. Well, less than a million miles. He's a few centimetres away.
Fantastic effort from Roderick Miranda. Boonus into Gundy. Now a lovely spin from Economides. He has Nani presenting on the right-hand side. Dunked ball into the area. He's only half cleared by Salakidis. Now it's whipped to the back stick again. Can't find a target on this occasion. Unbeknownst to us, maybe in the wake of one of the goals, Lachie, we've actually had a substitution here.
Yeah, on comes Owen McCloskey onto the field of play, a young talent here at Victory who gets a chance, and I think that's going to be a continuing trend throughout this game. We, of course, saw against Dandenong Thunder that Tony Popovic pretty much rolled with like a first-choice 11 in the first 45 and then played not the reserve side, but a lot of the bench options, young players coming through the academy in the second 45. And, you know, as the McCloskey introduction suggests, we might even be seeing that come to fruition a bit sooner. But certainly this is going to be, for those kind of players, more of a test coming up against senior football. And academy players who have spent this season toiling well in the NPL 3, getting the chance to come up against some players who they may well, if they remain in the academy, may well be playing next season in NPL 2. Of course, got that promotion relegation playoff game, the academy side on Sunday against Kingston. The winner takes the spot in the NPL 2. It's one you would fancy the academy side to get the result in. As Brimmer on the charge, around a couple, trying to find the shooting angle. And making the block again is Kevin Lynch.
He just kept going there, Jake Brimmer. A run that wouldn't end. Actually, it's brought back for an earlier foul. Zach Bates. It's by process of elimination that Nick D'Agostino is the player who's gone to the bench. With Chris Economides moving into that number 9 role up front. Here's Lofts. Economides. McCluskey turns it over. See what kind of impression he can make tonight. It's a big opportunity for the young man. Source of intrigue pre-game was Aaron Evans being named on the Melbourne Victory bench as a trialist. Hasn't officially signed yet. Defender who spent most of his career in Indonesia, also holds a Croatian passport.
Well, in the upshot of that, Nick D'Agostino's substitution as well, is that Chris Economides has taken up that central position. We obviously saw him play there in the Australia Cup loss to Western United, and he got himself in a lot of good goal-scoring positions, but the finishing touch just eluded him, so maybe a chance to right that wrong tonight, playing up front.
It's Brimmer's ball into Nani. He tries the dummy again. 2 goals to his name already tonight. I'm sure he'd love to make it a hat-trick before he's inevitably subbed off at half-time. What a boost for Nani to get the monkey off his back, so to speak. The first couple of goals in a Victory jersey, and of course it's only a friendly match, and it's third-tier opposition. Economides goes round his marker. Shot is blocked. Karidis had no answer for that dribble. Now here's Economides again winning the ball back. Jake Brimmer with space and time. Nani slides it through for Cadete. It's fired across the face of goal. Can't find that key finishing touch at the back post. For once, Melbourne Victory put in a teasing delivery and it's not met.
I know he played the pass into Cadete, but it was a shock not to see Nani there at the back post, ready to knock it away in a free position. As good as he is, not capable of being in 2 places at the same time. But again, it's a delivery from Cadete that, but for the introduction of a teammate in the right place at the right time, he'd have another assist to add to the tally. Good to see him continuing to settle in to the Victory starting fold. Obviously, big shoes to fill in the form of the outgoing Jason Davidson.
Much loved figure at Victory, not just for his performances on the park, but his performances off it as well when he was suspended, turning up in the North Terrace last season. As you say, a tough player to replace, but on this performance, at least Victory seemed to have found a gem in Cadete.
It's good work through the middle from Varney Shamoon there, which is released Northcote down this right-hand side. Salakides and Gandhi conspiring, try and create an avenue for a delivery, but Victory in the end clear their lines. Probably the first time Victory have been forced into a meaningful clearance in this game. Not that that's a massive shock.
Not indeed, but it's been a very confident, commanding performance from the A-League outfit. Boonus. Lofts. Great ball. Find Lynch. Cross deflected. It'll be a Northcote corner, their first of the match. From the left-hand side, anyway. And Varney Shamoon will be entrusted with it. Can Northcote pull a goal back before half-time? It falls to Jonathan Boonus. It's cleared as far as Lynch. Now Lofts. Caught late. A sliding challenge. Jake Brimmer. And we'll have a Northcote free kick in a decent position to swing a ball in.
Foot of Kevin Lynch, the fullback, to deliver. Options waiting patiently along the penalty box. This is a decently shaped delivery. Clearance is missed by Cadete, and into the path of Varney Shamoon it goes. Salakides feeding Lofts, gets round one, but not a second. He's shown a few moments of quality, Luke Lofts, but that is going to bring us into the sheds here at halftime. And Melbourne Victory have been absolutely faultless here at John Cain, doing the job that they have needed to do, pulling ahead to a 4-0 lead. And Nani at the double has caught the headlines, Josh.
Certainly has. This huge crowd here at Northcote has come out to see the Victory. And their star man, Lewis Nani, well, he's come up with the goods early. A double, arriving twice at the back stick, once with a header, once with a volley. Put Victory 2 up. There's the captain, Josh Brillante, who repeated the trick, arriving with a late run into the penalty area, meeting across at the back post and making it 3. 3 goals, almost identical for Melbourne Victory. And then the fourth, a fine volley from defender Roderick Miranda, who came up for a corner. It was just clipped back to him around the penalty spot. And he unleashed a fine strike with his instep to put Victory 4 goals up at halftime. Now we'll have a chance to see some of the Victory youngsters. Platoon swap at halftime coming. And maybe we'll see two brothers on the pitch for opposite sides in Dennis and Alex Menelau. Plenty still to come here on the live stream, but as we go into halftime, we want to remind you of Melbourne Victory's membership campaign. We want more, 2022-23. Let's have a watch of the video.
Victory is more than just a name. Our history is built on tradition and values.
Well, the ball is just glued to his boots.
We are pride and passion, and we are noise. But no one gives you anything in football. It doesn't come easy. You can't be satisfied. That is life. That is football. We're born from the notion of bringing all the Victorians together under one banner. It's about hard work, it's about discipline, and it's about respect. The skills, thrills, spills and goals. And more goals.
It's 5 for Archie Thompson.
It's the moments and the celebrations that stay with you.
But we want more.
Welcome back to John Cain Memorial Park here in Northcote for the second 45 of this Melbourne Victory friendly, and it is a new look Melbourne Victory 11 in the second half. All change on the bench for Tony Popovic as the reserve 11 starts the second half. Young talents, bench options, Raimar Chan as well. All the people who are going to carry Victory through the second 45 with a 4-0 buffer to work alongside them up against a Northcote City side who, as I welcome Josh Parish, who is alongside Lachie Flannigan for the second half of this broadcast, have had a lot of defensive work to do so far, Josh. As we get back underway, and we'll run through all those changes as they come on the ball because there's simply too many to list in one go. We could do the full 11, but we would be here for a while, Josh.
It's a platoon swap at the break for Melbourne Victory. As Lofts nearly in on goal. Northcote applying the early pressure. And we're still yet to see the top scorer, Dennis Menelau. Hopefully we get a glimpse of him at some point. Pursuing the ball with target intensity was Tommaso Minatoli. And it's picked off by Ben Falami. Accelerating away. Cut back, can't find a teammate.
I'd be fascinated to see what Ben Falami contributes in this second 45. Of course, he really, after a challenging opening half against the Thunder, was the difference, his energy down that left flank. He got the opening goal for Victory, hoping to make it a second goal in consecutive pre-season games. The other man I'll be keeping a close for watch on is the man who just won the ball there, Raimar Chan. He's, I think, still watching back that cheeky free kick goal that he scored.
The King
Against Thunder. Yeah, the Victory starting 11 were very pleased watching that one on the sidelines. Who was calling him the King again, Josh?
That was Roderick Miranda, who might have a claim to the throne tonight after
good point.
His volley in the first half to make it 4-0. Costa Apostolopoulos laying the ball off for Lewis Caritas. Victory win it back though. Accelerating away, and can Eli Adams tee up here? He'll go himself. Wasn't too far wide. Looked nice off the boot, but just came off the outside and curled away from the target at the last moment from Eli Adams, former Brisbane Roar youngster who's come across after impressing the Warren Moon side last season. What an enterprising run this is from Kevin Lynch. The halfway line to the byline.
Now he's got to get back in the opposite direction, which is not nearly as fun.
He's sucking in the big ones after that, I'd imagine. Shibashi sees it back to his goalkeeper, James Burgess, in the second half. They've swapped keepers. Northcote City. Minatoli playing the ball through, and it's fired just wide of the mark by Noah Smith. In nosebleed territory for the left back. Incredible.
Well, evidently a continuing trend of the fullbacks on that left flank for Tony Popovic. I saw Cadete put in such an enterprising performance in that same position in the first half from an attacking sense, always putting such inviting deliveries into the penalty area. And Noah Smith, not content with just setting up, was trying to turn scorer. As we do We'll also have a new face on for Melbourne Victory as well, Josh.
We've got plenty of new faces out there, Lachie. It's Aaron Evans is the newest of the bunch on trial, making the move from the Indonesian League, where he's played a lot of his football. He's going to be looking to win a contract with Melbourne Victory. We saw Jordan O'Doherty play a role against Dandenong Thunder, not on the team sheet today. So Victory casting their eye over a wide variety of players, widening the nets in their attempts to fill out the squad ahead of the new A-League season, and really interesting to see how Aaron Evans performs, having played top-flight football in a country where I doubt many A-League fans have seen a game.
And it's often the case that we see A-League players head towards their Southeast Asian leagues for a sort of another opportunity, but we don't always quite as often see them come back in the opposite direction. So it'll be fascinating to see what kind of a performance Aaron Evans puts in tonight, especially considering Victory not the only one displaying an interest in him as well. Been told of interest from the likes of Perth and Western United as well, so it's rare that you're a trialist and you have so many people hot after your signature, but it can only be a good thing for Victory's number 13 tonight.
It's the most in-demand trialist in the country. Here's Costa Apostolopoulos. Back with Boonis now. Directing traffic at the base of midfield, but pass misses the mark. One back by Apostolopoulos. Here's Yug Gandhi. Goes past 1, 2 to the byline. Hangs it up. It's a great delivery from that position. Not a convincing clearance from Aaron Evans. And now it drops for Boonis. And he's hit them from there before. That one flying way over the crossbar. But Jonathan Boonis, fair to say, Lachie, has that in his locker.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth, Josh. That was exactly the football cliche that I was heading for. Yeah, for those who aren't familiar with the Northcote captain, he's got 7 goals to his name this season, and I think at least 2 or 3 of those have been volleyed efforts that have nestled into the top bin, including one a couple of weeks ago in the local derby against Brunswick City, which he smacked on the half volley from all of 30 yards. And a very lucky man to be in attendance for that particular goal. And, yeah, that's his sort of first speculative effort, and if his usual displays in midfield are to go by, or anything to go by, it's probably not going to be his last for the evening.
Loves a dig from range. Big Jonathan Boonis. It's turned over. Desperate sliding challenge to try and keep the ball alive for Melbourne Victory, but it trickles out for a throw-in for Northcote. They'll have more of an opportunity to play their football. More time in possession against the second string. Though, to be fair, Melbourne Victory's youth brigade have run a lot of NPL 3 sides ragged this season with the way they can pass the ball. And hoping to make the step up to Northcote City's level next season. They've got that playoff coming up we mentioned earlier against Kingston City, which you'll be calling, Lachie.
Yeah, it's a fascinating one because Kingston are a side that, you know, people who are au fait with Victorian football and its history not that long ago, Josh, really before the whole pandemic thing, sorry to bring it up, we're playing in the top flight. We're playing NPL football. And so now, staring down the barrel of the NPL 3, you'd think that the stronger side coming up from the NPL 3 would be favoured, as on the swivel is Vani Shamoon, and it's not overly convincing at the first time of asking by Matt Acton, but he recovers in the end to make the claim. And Victory, you would imagine, will drop down a few of the top quality academy talents that we haven't seen as much in that side, the likes of Leighton Brooks and Nish Valupale, the kind of players you might expect to see a healthy amount of minutes in a must-win encounter. But yeah, despite their underperformance this season, Kingston are a very strong side. They do have some decent quality, and they'll be a really hard opponent to beat. I wouldn't be surprised to see that game go the stretch.
Here's Evans into Adams, just wrong-footed. Booness nips in ahead of him as he tries to touch upon the loose ball. Shamoon going down, push in the back from Matt Spiranovic. He's on for the second half.
And Matt Spiranovic, even in a friendly game, he's still got that defensive, that wily old central defensive body language that you never forget. You know, wheeling away from a clear foul with his arms up. I didn't do anything wrong. Got to respect
muscle memory.
Yeah, you respect players who go at it like that.
Booness. Bates dropping very deep. Former South Melbourne player. Former Melbourne City youth player. It's been covered in the first half. Bates trying to play their way out of trouble here, Northcote. And they've worked it out very nicely. Apostolopoulos looking to find Lynch. That's where the move breaks down. Aaron Evans. It's only been out there a few minutes, but already given Melbourne Victory's laundry department a lot of work. He's completely caked in mud from the slide tackles. Now Eli Adams with the step overs and reverse pass inside. Just looking for Alex Menelau.
And I think that's the big test for Eli Adams, obviously making, I guess what you would say, Josh, is a step up from Brisbane Roar to Victory. He did dazzle when he had those appearances and those features off the bench, particularly for Brisbane Roar, but getting that sort of consistency of application, the difference between being a regular starter and just a kind of moments player, definitely something for him to target, especially when he is upgrading into what is a really, really tough front line to break into at Victory.
Now Shamoon lets it run, and Gandhi has the pace to get him behind Victory here. It's your Gandhi, and it's straight at Matt Acton. Northcote City's best chance of the night. It comes from their wonder boy, the under-21s player who's broken into the first team this season with a string of impressive performances. The finish on that occasion was lacking, but saw in that run just a brief glimpse of why he's done so much damage at senior level this season.
Northcote definitely with the aid of all the adjustments for Victory have grown into this game. As down goes Jonathan Booness. He's a hard man to bring down.
There's another double change being prepared by Northcote. Didn't make the platoon swap that Victory did at halftime. No substitutes board going up here tonight, so I'll inform you of those changes as we decipher them ourselves. Jonathan Booness going off. I miss a lot without his leadership at the base of midfield.
Well, Marco Tavella is one of them. The other that comes on for Northcote, Leo Athanasiou. Good to see him back playing football. Josh, he had a knee reconstruction back in 2021, so missed all of that season. And then as he's recovered, he's missed most of this season, only made his return to Northcote football a couple of weeks ago. So good minutes for him. So he continues his return. Shamoon takes it on the swivel, but has his pocket picked. Spiranovic. Falami inside to Marchand. Slipped his pass a little bit heavy. Maybe the slick of the surface, taking it slightly further than he judged.
Shakamo Luna giving the ball away there, and now Zach Bates Finds Gandhi on the far side. One-on-one with his fullback now. Falami in support, but he steps inside. Lofts was in there. It's a morass of bodies. Adams comes away with it. Falami. Eli Adams. He's changing passes. As Ben Falami drifts to the opposite flank. The cutback from Falami was in search of Eli Adams, but Costa Apostolopoulos was in the way. Well anticipated by the stand-in captain, wearing the armband now, in the absence of Jonathan Boonis.
Would have been one of the more elongated 1-2 sequences if Ben Falami was able to pick out Eli Adams.
They seem players of a slightly similar ilk. We saw the way they were combining their birds of a feather and the way they approach the game. We saw how Ben Falami kicked on last season after a really disappointing debut campaign and a very disappointing Victory team. Under Grant Brebner and then Steve Keane. This will be Eli Adams' year to make a breakthrough into the first team. Falami with the step overs, it's lovely skill and the cutback. Met with a fresh air swing from Minatoli. Bates. Space opening up in the middle of the park for Northcote. Lynch. Back to Athanasiou. Karidis. A little tug of the shirt. Play goes on. It's worked out to Lynch, who shapes the delivery. He only had one target to aim for, but Thani Shamoon couldn't quite get there. Again, lovely shape on the cross. It's been a good night for crossing.
Honestly, I'm starting to wonder if there's some magic on that patch of grass over on the left-hand side of your screen, down on the right on the edge of the penalty box, because I think all the best crosses in this game have come from that area, be it Cadete getting some assists, or in this case, Kevin Lynch, where the cross was begging for someone to meet it. Seems like that's been the area. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it's drier than other parts of the pitch, but it's going to work out potentially in favour of Northcote, although here's Falami on the charge. That's an offside flag that's going to bring that Victory attack to an end.
The surface here at John Cain has held up remarkably well, considering there was a game called off here on the weekend.
Yeah, and look, Northcote have done a power of work just to make sure this game could actually come together. I saw people out there with the rollers and the brooms clearing, standing water off the surface of this pitch just to make the game happen. And to be honest, you wouldn't know that people had been doing that sort of rolling, that intense kind of work to keep this pitch up to spec during the game, because the ball's rolled around pretty nicely, even if a few players have seen the ground give way beneath their feet.
Yeah, just a few slips in the first half. A few studs getting caught in mud, but the ball hasn't held up. As Northcote go to their bench again for the double change.
And
is that the man himself, Dennis Menelau?
Yes, we're halfway through the Menelau tandem. We expect he'll be joined by his brother shortly. And the other player, well, speaking of familiar faces, onto the field comes Chris Christeldo, who some will remember as a former Victory youth, a former Victory player. I think made 4 appearances in his senior career, getting a goal against Perth as well. And here he is on the ball against his old side, and first pass is an errant one. And in fact, we've completed that Menelau tandem, Josh. Alex and Dennis, the brothers, reunited on opposite sides of the field. How exciting is that?
What a special night for the Menelau family.
Both Northcote juniors as well in days gone by. One has stayed and the other has moved on to greener pastures.
Dennis is the top scorer at Northcote this season, hitting double digits. As Minatoli looks for Falami. Danger not averted for Northcote yet. Victory building now. Falami gets the return pass. Ben Falami. That was silky smooth from Victory's number 11. He finds the bottom corner. He makes it look easy, even though it was anything but. That's a fine finish. And it's 5-0 to Melbourne Victory.
Goal for Melbourne Victory, number 11.
The cutback.
North City Hill, Melbourne Victory.
A tantalising one for Ben Falami. He had the time to take a touch. Maybe a lesser player would have tried to control that and really pick their spot. But Ben Falami, with all the awareness and excellence you'd expect of someone of his level, with that first time finish into the bottom corner. And that fifth is going to allow Victory to make a host of new changes. Will Wilson, one of the players who's entered the field of play.
That was fantastic work. It all started with Noah Smith winning the ball high up the park, passing and then continuing his run, looking for the ball again. As Noah Smith's cut back perfectly into Falami's stride. Made the finish a lot simpler than it would have been. And he's got forward very effectively, Noah Smith. Outstanding performance by Cadete, the man he's competing with for that left back slot this season. But he's making a good impression himself. Almost got in the score sheet earlier in the half, and now he's come up with the assist. As Rai Marchand looks long for the run of Will Wilson. He's able to chase it down. Delivery is low, and Northcote City should deal with the danger, although Wilson nipping in again and winning the corner. He's full of energy.
Not quite winning the corner, unfortunately. Goal kick in the end.
In fact.
But you can't fault his effort in industry, Will Wilson.
I have to make an objection with the officials on that occasion.
Did look from this position as though the last touch was off a Northcote body. Will Wilson, another player who did so well off the pine against Dandenong Thunder in the previous friendly, and it was really that Australia Cup last year where he got that goal against Gold Coast Knights in extra time, where he sort of came onto the scene as a first team prospect. He doesn't really have that cup run opportunity this time around, so these games so important for someone like him, as Victory tried to construct something silky again.
Nice. Lovely back heel from Ben Falami. You may as well bring out the tricks now. When you're 5-0 up in a pre-season friendly, when else are you going to get the opportunity to turn on the style?
Nani in the first half clearly had decided that 4 wasn't enough, because he was just going for the tap-ins. To make the easy stuff look good, and we can worry about the hard stuff later.
He was very selfless in the first half, Nani. He didn't really take the bull by the horns in search of the third goal in the match ball. Yug Gandhi going past his man again to the byline. Delicate delivery, but picked off by Rai Marchand. Now Ben Falami feeds it through the Northcote backline, looking very stretched here, and Eli Adams is in. He's lost his footing. Follow-up effort from Will Wilson. He's not far wide of the target there. Plenty behind it. Eli Adams will be ruining that first touch that led him away from goal.
Yeah, but if at first you don't succeed, Eli Adams tried again to make sure the possession and the play didn't come to nothing. It wasn't a million miles away, the curling effort from Will Wilson. Just always stands out, not least for his energetic play in midfield, but also for the hairstyle as well. It's one of the better ones you'll see. It's not quite the full sideshow, Bob, but it's certainly progressing in that direction.
Don't do him like that, Lachie. He pulls it off. He definitely does. And he's been outstanding for the NPL 3 side this year. Has earned his first professional contract as a result. Here he is again, Will Wilson. Can he find a teammate? Eli Adams goes down in search of the penalty, and he'll get it. He had both feet off the ground when he was clipped. Eli Adams wins the spot kick after his first touch takes him away from goal again. That might be slightly harsh on Lewis Caritas, who was trying to pull out of the challenge. Opportunity to make it 6. And Rai Marchand will be the man to step up. And finds the bottom corner. Rai Marchand with a confident penalty, strokes it home with ease. Victory up 6-0.
Goal for Melbourne Victory, number 4.
He went for the cheekiness, the deception when he got his goal last week off the dead ball. It was a free kick that time at George Andrews. This one, much more straight up and down, just slotting it into that bottom right. And you can tell a penalty's good, Josh, when the keeper guesses the right way, and even then are still well way away from saving it. That was all class from Rai Marchand. I wonder if Roger Miranda was standing off to the side of the bench calling him the king again as he tucked that penalty away. It all counts. I think the promising thing for Eli Adams is that even though he has had a few heavy touches in promising opportunities, he's worked hard enough on the second effort to sort of reprieve, to get that sort of peace offering for the earlier sin. Like the first time, he lost the ball on the cutback but was able to spot up Will Wilson behind him. Second time, misses the cutback again, but it's smart enough to keep the ball in his control, win the penalty, which eventually Victory score. So not a million miles away, but he is at least getting in for those second efforts, which I think someone who admires hard work as much as Tony Popovic does, that'll be very pleasing for him.
Certainly shown great application and attitude tonight. As Victory go to their bench once again. 3 changes prepared. Matt Sporanovic replaced already. And Aaron Evans looks like he's trotting off as well. Oh. Just over 25 minutes on the park for Aaron Evans as a trialist. He's completed about 6 or 7 slide tackles in that time, so that's a fair return.
Yeah, but I guess at the end of the day, the trial games that you're going to play against an NPL outfit, it's not really where the decisions are made and not made. It's how do you fit in on that, the training park, how do you integrate into the style of play, and we only got to see a brief moment of that, but Gosh's paddock is really where the decision is going to go down for someone like him.
So now it's an opportunity for Linus Burke, who really shone against Dandenong Thunder in the last friendly hit out, as Falami rides that challenge. Falami, 3 players to crowd him off the ball. Thanassiou lays it off. Now Menelau kept it away from the centre half, but Rai Marchand nipped in around the blind side and picked his pocket. And it's Marchand's pass. Plays in the Victory attack once again. Great save. Coming off his line early was James Burgess. And Leighton Brooks fresh off the bench. Almost scored with his first touch. Try and build again down the right. Leighton Brooks. Turn pass. Can't find a teammate. Apostolopoulos. Into Bates. One back by the Victory. Leighton Brooks. Early delivery is a good one. And another substitute who's just been introduced. Nishan Velupile. Couldn't find the finishing touch. It's across a little too far ahead of him for Lupulay to have a chance.
I don't know whether it's just the surface or, you know, some magic situation that's going on here, but just every cross that's gone in tonight looks like it's on the precipice of ending as a goal. Maybe that's just the A-League quality coming to the fore for Victory. So Robertson, one of the substitutes, goes back to Apostolopoulos. As Christeldo wheels around and picks out Gandhi. Driving towards the line, but stood up well. Gandhi. Probably been Northcote's liveliest player further ahead of the back four. Shibashi, little angle pass for Zach Bates. Northcote taking their turn to play patient in possession. You only get so much time up against an A-League men's outfit, though. It's a great pass to release Northcote down the right. Showing a bit too much on that occasion, Marco Tavella. Christeldo. Put down nicely by Gandhi. Robertson trying to pick out an option down the channel, and on the stride, Ramachan. Falami, who's just waiting for an appealing option to materialise. In fact, goes it himself. Now Brooks, the cross into the box. Again, it's inviting for Lupulay. Not getting the desired contact. And every time Victory break, they look threatening as Burke's cross, maybe for a brief moment, put the heart in the mouth of James Burgess. There was a half moment where it seemed like a goalward-bound delivery.
Oh, he put so much power behind it. Really whipped it in. Here's Bates. Athanassiou almost coughed it up. Well, that's one challenge. And a lovely bit of footwork. And now Christeldo tries to force it in from the angle. Dennis Menelau was lurking. Couldn't find him, and Matt Acton dived on the ball gratefully.
And in case you didn't hear it come through on the FX microphone earlier, just a confirmation of the official crowd here at John Cain Memorial Park, which was 1,100, which I think in the context of the weather, it being a Wednesday night, that's a pretty good return here at John Cain, and it looks every bit 1,100 underneath the very elevated grandstand, and I'm sure the social club down below us is popping off too.
It's been a great night for Northcote City, off the pitch at least. Pillay cutting inside, finding the target for Victory's 7th. Nishan Volupulay with a searing strike into the bottom corner. And Victory are in 7th heaven.
And it just looks effortless. Finish at times. That was a dazzling little dart down the left flank. We haven't seen too many of those kind of attacks this evening where the player on the flank has elected to cut inside and strike on goal. But Nish, given an inch by the Northcote defence, absolutely extracted a mile. And you do wonder, with that pro-rel playoff for the Victory Academy side coming up, as down goes Raimar Shan in the middle. The king.
I'm afraid he's going to get memed again for that one.
He looked a bit more like the jester on that occasion. But you do wonder with that Pro Rel playoff against Kingston in mind, what kind of scope does Nishan Volupale get in a game like that, because it's such an important fixture. We want these A-League Academy sides to be playing at the absolute highest level they can. Victory have got themselves in the spot to do that, but I mean, to have a player who can just decide games with little moments like Nish Volupale can.
Well, it's going to be a tough call because, of course, pre-season first-team preparation comes first. As Fuki Ishibashi cuts that one out. Leighton Brooks winning it back. Now it's Ben Falami. Over hits the cross. Noah Spasevsky onto the park now for Victory. Wilson. Marchand spreading the play again. Out to Leighton Brooks, who has time to measure this one into the near post and into the side netting.
I think you're a bit harsh on James Burgess there. I think he made the contact. I think that was on target, heading towards goal from Will Wilson. There's a bit of contact on it and fingertips away from James Burgess. That's a good save that's been forced out of both Northcote keepers in this game now.
You're right, Lachie. It's come off the fingertips. Maybe heading wide of the target, but James Burgess wasn't to know. Now Victory trying another rehearsed routine from the corner, and it falls. A fine strike from Leighton Brooks. Draws the reflex save out of Burgess. In fact, it's Noah Smith who's got on the end of that one. My apologies. 25, not 26. Tipped over the crossbar by Burgess. And he'll get the chance to take this one, Noah Smith. This time it does fall for Brooks. Goes down under the challenge of Christeldo. Feeds Bates. He's got pace. Doesn't have any teammates in support, Zach Bates. Still going on his own. Victory eventually clear the danger, only as far as Ugandi. And we'll have to stop the play for an injured player, unfortunately. I don't know how on earth Zach Bates got around his marker on the byline there. Just bundled his way through. Actually had 4 Victory players running back, and Zach Bates was ploughing a lone furrow up top.
Just refused to give up on the opportunity, even though he had no blue shirts in support.
Almost forming a wall with his body on the byline to stop the ball from rolling out of play.
I think, as we have had that play stop, Josh, as you said, for an injured player receiving treatment, I think it might have been Leighton Brooks who went down on the edge of the box in that challenge with Christeldo earlier. And the medical team currently surrounding him. Hopefully nothing serious for one of Victory's leading youth lights. He's being helped off the pitch. It doesn't present well on first viewing. It was a stiff challenge. He was caught in body to body by Christeldo. I think it wasn't necessarily the challenge so much as it was maybe the way the foot or the ankle landed against the ground in the aftermath of the challenge.
Certainly was an awkward fall, and we hope the Victory youngster is okay. Damian Bozanovsky. To Linus Burke. Into Spasevsky. They work it out through Smith. Volupale. Can't get there. Victory have laid down a marker tonight. Marchand's back heel, Wilson. Pass cut out. And another Northcote substitute, and Emmanuel Coley is on in the back line. Ishibashi to Robinson. Apostolopoulos. Now Bates, one of the only Northcote players to have played the 90 minutes, or best part thereof so far. Thanassiou looking for the big switch out to Gandhi, but Noah Smith saw it all the way. Now he's charging forward, and he feeds Ben Falami through on the keeper, and it's going to trickle wide. Ben Falami would have fancied doing better in that situation. Just got his angles wrong.
In the second half that he's had, Ben Falami, you're expecting him to add number 8. Again, the intention and the intelligence of that intention there for all to see, with that deft little clip over the top of James Burgess. But unfortunately for Ben, it just trickles wide for him in the end. Robertson and Bates trying to find an avenue forward. Christeldo, I'm not sure that's the teammate he intended to pick out in the form of Emmanuel Coley.
Certainly not with a pass of that velocity. He's come on with a lot of energy and enthusiasm, Christeldo, understandably so against his former club, but some of that energy has been misdirected on occasion. Here's Marchand. Keeps his footing this time. Curls the ball into the path of Smith. Took a touch on the way. Victory throw.
Try and bring down up the line. Contesting was Umliotis. Burke. Little 1-2 with Marchand. Spasevsky. Victory. Happy to play patient, pick their time. Northcote travel forward in search of a consolation, although maybe more to add to the tally. Falami wriggling free with options available, heading towards the byline, gets the cutback for Valupale, who again just can't get his footing quite right. It's a good interception to save the day from Robinson. He's going to try and link up with Bates. In fact, Bates tasking himself with the attacking drive. Just showed too much to the defenders further afield.
Ball just ran away from him in the end. Maybe out of fatigue more than anything else, Zach Bates. Marchand, delicate dinked ball over the defence, which Burgess is equal to. Now, Athanasiou. Jong Kyung Jin on the park now for Northcote City. Switch that ball out wide. Christeldo. Just breaks down past wrong footsy's teammate. Marchand. Volupole. It's just tugged back and touched there by Leo Athanasiou.
It's a shame that the foul had to come through in the end, Josh. It's such a joy to watch a player, the ability of Nishan Volupole, stride through and glide up the field on the dribble. Northcote make some final changes.
Might be a new record for substitutions today, Lachie.
Wilson, options ahead, including the eventual option he picked out, which was the direct shot, and the final action of proceedings here at John Cain Memorial Park, where a healthy crowd, 1,100, were in attendance and in good spirits to see Victory put in a masterful performance. An 8-0 victory, goals flying in, 4 on either side of the half. And promising signs to take out of tonight for Tony Popovic, you'd say, Josh.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a commanding performance from start to finish. You know, they really laid down a marker in that first half with the first team. Nani helping himself to 2 goals. His first 2 goals in a Victory jersey. Josh Brillante getting in on the act as well, and Roderick Miranda with a volley after the corner was half cleared. Came back into him, and the big centre-back, perhaps the most spectacular goal of the night. They weren't done in the second. There's 3 of the more experienced members on the park in that second half that netted the goals. A penalty kick from Ryan Marchand. Second goal from a dead ball in the space of 2 games. This one wasn't quite so deceitful for the keeper, but managed to find the bottom corner. And then goals from Ben Falami, making it look effortless out there. And Nishan Volupole powering one into the bottom corner. 7th heaven for Victory. And these Victory supporters, local football fans who've come out to see some top-class football, have got what they paid for.
Absolutely. And look, if Victory fans want to see more of those academy talents, they are playing in the NPL 2-3 promotion relegation playoff game against Kingston City at the Valley Park Event Centre this Sunday at 2 p.m. So Victory fans, if you weren't able to make it down tonight, you want to support those young talents as they progress their quest to jump up into another division. We'll make sure you get down there. But here tonight, as the sides head into the sheds, as the juniors queue up for 90 signature, that is where we'll leave it. From Football Nation Radio, myself, Lachie Flannigan, and from Josh Parish, good night to you.
Victory is more than just a name. Our history is built on tradition and values.
Well, the ball is just glued to his boots.
We are pride and passion, and we are noise. But no one gives you anything in football. It doesn't come easy. You can't be satisfied. That is life. That is football. We're born from the notion of bringing all of Victorians together under one banner. It's about hard work, it's about discipline, and it's about respect. The skills, thrills, spills, and goals. And more goals.
It's 5 for Archie Johnson.
It's the moments and the celebrations that stay with you.
But we want more.